Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we're talking about the law of expression. So far on the channel, I have gone in depth about a number of different universal laws. We've talked about the law of receiving, the law of compensation, the law of attraction. We've talked about the law of non-resistance and the law of substitution. Each of these laws are critical algorithms to understand in the process of reality creation. If you understand these laws, you are understanding the coding and software and programming of this universe. When we understand the way these laws work, it aids us and enables us to properly create the realities that we want. Working in harmony with the universal laws is the key. We've explored them from a variety perspective, but this is a fairly unique and new one. This comes from an amazing book written by Melinda Kramer called Divine Science and Healing. This book comes from 1918. As I did research on Melinda Kramer, I found that she was one of the actual originators of New Thought. She started the Church of Divine Science, which was around before the New Thought Alliance and was critical in the beginnings of that process and was a protege of Mary Baker Eddy. So I love these old New Thought teachings. They are more pure and powerful. And here she talks about the law of expression in her book, Divine Science and Healing. I will let her explain what this law is, and we can discuss it afterwards. But this does touch upon the importance of threes, why we see threes as a critical part of manifestation. We see it with the pyramid and the triangle. We see it with the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. And this is a part of this law as described by Melinda Kramer. Kramer describes having a divine revelation after an hour of earnest meditation and prayerful seeking. And in that hour, she had this realization of the oneness of all life. A gleam of its truth flashed across her mental vision. She was healed from everything that she was suffering from and then became an avid teacher of New Thought. The law of expression. The whole is equal to the sum of all its parts. Divine science is divine knowledge. It is truth's classification of the one all, the basis upon which its conclusions are predicated and from which its affirmations are formulated is the statement of being and the law of expression. Divine science proves that the unity of creator, creative action, and creation is an exact and demonstrable science, which gives to its adherents a safe haven of rest, an ever-abiding place in the one self-existing source and cause. The value of science is its unfailing principle, its never-changing basis, its exactness, certainty, and universal applicability. People are glad to give up uncertainty of opinion for the certainty of principle, for this changeless self-existing source and cause we love to call God. No other basis could be found that would satisfy the intellectual and reasoning capacity of man. Order is law. The beginning of any building is its foundation. Now, what foundation have we upon which to build the temple not made with hands? If it is not the one supreme self-existing source, the strength and safety of our building depends upon the permanency and unchangeableness of its foundation. The foundation of science is a rock of everlasting strength and endurance. We shall now study the eternal and its method of self-expression. The law of expression is the simple rule of three, a trinity. Two things, the reverse of each other, could not occupy the same place at the same time. Light and darkness, heat and cold, health and sickness could not exist in the same place at the same time. No more could love and hate, good and evil, God and devil. The all is good and the all is here. God is omnipresent, and we are in His presence from everlasting to everlasting. This proves the unity of God and man, for man's existence is right where God is. It is I in God and God in me. Man could not exist as the reverse of God. The new and living way of knowledge is a consciousness of what the real is and of the true nature of existing things around us. If we do not rely on the real nature of what is and is self-existing, We have no basis for rest, no source for faith, the substance of things hoped for. There is no light by which darkness can be found, no truth by which sin, sickness, and death, so-called, can be proven real. One may suppose there are two ways, the reverse of each other, that represent the truth of unity. While this supposition is possible, but one of the ways can be law or principle. From observation, one can suppose the earth to be flat, that the sun rises and sets, etc. This viewpoint is not from the universal. The viewpoint of knowledge tells us that the earth is round, that its revolution upon its axis causes the seeming rising and setting of the sun. No false supposition concerning the earth can make it flat. No miscalculation concerning anything can change the truth of it. A false supposition about anything has nothing to do with its reality. The suppositional way of presenting unity allows man, what is falsely supposed to be man, to claim that as long as he believes the earth to be flat, to him it was true, and when he discovered the earth to be round and knew his former belief to be false, to further claim that his former false view was of just as much value to him while he believed it as his knowledge is at the present time. This shows but little appreciation of knowledge. It serves to illustrate the low estimate placed upon truth by those who endeavor to make God the source of both truth and error, and claim there is no one to believe falsely but him. They ignorantly endeavor to bring God down to harmonize with previous false beliefs and conditions sensed therefrom. They, who thus reason, expect in the order of their evolution to surmount what they claim their source and cause to be the origin of. This shows they have made a God unto themselves in the image and likeness of false belief. To overcome that which has its source in God would mean that one must be over and above him, and be superior to that which is self-existing. Their basis is a changeable one. As they rise spirally upward and onward forever, their present consciousness is always greater than that from which it was evolved. They claim that what is truth today was not truth yesterday, and will not be truth tomorrow. Their foundation for unity of the whole is as shifting sand. This way of reasoning can never be proven scientific or the way of truth and life. In this presentation, there is no unchanging basis to think, speak, and work from, no perfect law to demonstrate. It is not the new and living way. The true realization of unity is interior, truth, scientific law. It is knowing the true nature of Creator and creation and conforming our ways to it. It is being lifted up to know that all that really is good. It enables one to justly and correctly act in unity with the whole of power and the all of good. The erroneous method of reasoning idealizes the false suppositions of what might be were God not all in all. The true method of reasoning knows and justly presents the true idea of all things and predicates every conclusion upon the premise that the all is good. In this method, one sees the whole of creation lifted up and partaking of the very nature of the Creator, and as being good and very good. Divine science teaches that creation is the Creator expressed, that self-revelation is the law and order of the Infinite One. It reveals the law by which the invisible sources become visible in effect. It is one law, hence all must necessarily see unity and know truth in order to experience the fulfillment of law within themselves. John 3:16, 17, John 1:13. God is known as a trinity in unity. The Creator, creative action, and creation. This trinity has always been and will ever be. In other words, man is being, doing, and result. Or he is the I am that thinks and speaks. An infinite source and cause cannot be conceived of without containing perfect intelligence and limitless idea. It must be the intelligence that is revealed in expressing its idea in creation. So it is logical to conclude that being or mind contains both intelligence and idea. Man must of necessity be the same in being and nature to live and fulfill the law of life. No power could accomplish anything without a beginning, and there could be no beginning without intelligence and idea, without being conscious of innate possibility equal to the work to be accomplished. John 15:1-3, Revelations 22:2. Man is a triune being. He is cause, action, and result. This truth is represented in the scriptures as tree of life, and the vine and the branches, as the tree contains root, body, and branch, and requires the three to make the whole, and as they are never separated into qualities of substance or by space. So man is being, action, and result, and the whole man includes the three. He is not divided by qualities of substance, degrees of conscious mind, or states of unfoldment. Man is one solitary substance, pure spirit throughout. The whole man is equal to the sum of the three. Let him not separate by space or by any theory what God has united. There is not a visible thing in existence that is not eternal in the invisible. Through this rule of three, we perceive the method by which the one all reveals itself in visible creation. So the invisible things from the creation of the world are clearly seen by the things which are made. Each one can say, I am the vine. The roots stand for our identity in God, the body of the vine for the individual, through which the identity acts to produce visible bodies or branches. The branches stand for the many forms that are spoken of in the scriptures, as being members of and constituting the body of Christ. Since the law of expression reveals the body to be included in spirit, even as the branches are included in the vine, and spirit to be God, the body is not denied in the practice of truth. It is given its true place in being. In divine science, the statement of being and the law of expression are unwaveringly adhered to. It never deviates from them in its explanation of life or interpretation of Scripture. There can be no law of the self-existing one, but its own inherent potency. It must therefore ever embody its real nature in what it expresses. The belief of inequality is departure from truth. As the figure 1, the unit in the science of numbers, is the basis from which all figures are derived, so in the study of science, it is essential that we see first of all that there is but one supreme being, which is the source of all creation, from which all forms proceed and which they live. As in the science of numbers, there is but one principle underlying all examples. So in divine science, there is but one being, or Holy Spirit, underlying the infinite variety of living forms expressed. The word expression, when defined, proves to be in its meaning very similar to the word existence. The prefix ex, which means out of, when attached to the word pressed, signifies that something is outpressed, caused to come forth, hence expressed. In these lessons, we shall speak of the visible universe and all it contains, as that which has been expressed of the Creator or expressor. This is using the word in both a universal and individual sense. The word expressing means acting, and expressed the result of acting. A living thing, then, is a thing expressed. Creation is the expression of the Creator. The law of expression is the way by which the Creator reveals or produces creation. It must therefore show the relationship existing between cause and effect, between God, the Creator, and God, the creation. 1. Being. 2. Doing. 3. Result. Number 1 is cause. 2 is action. 3. The result. As shown, this law is worked from the invisible to the visible, from the principle to the example, from the inner to the outer. Heaven shall have come when two have become as one. The outer as the inner. To illustrate, principle is that which is highest, first, that from which anything proceeds. In the science of numbers, examples are the expression of invisible principle, and our principle itself, visibly demonstrated. 1. Principle. 2. Solution. 3. Example. The order in which they stand to each other is shown. In divine science, the principle God is highest, first, the one from which all visibility proceeds. Creation is the expression of the Creator, and is the Creator visibly expressed. While in mathematics, examples are the expressions and finished work of the principle and are proof of evidence of it. They are not the cause for the principle. But just the reverse is true. The principle is the source of and cause for the example. It is universally conceded that the example is all that is ever formed or made visible of the principle. It is I, real being, that knows the principle, hence works the problem according to it. and produces perfect results. He who understands the analysis of his own work knows that his examples are expressions of the invisible principle and are the invisible made visible, that mathematical demonstrations accord perfectly with principle. 1. Invisible. 2. Action. 3. Visible. In this analysis, there is no separation, none between principle and example. No one would think of saying that the example was not as perfect as the principle. Principle is the law, so examples are harmonious in their relation to it. The only purpose they serve is to represent the principle. They represent it in all business relations. The mathematician knows no law by which to produce the perfect result, but the one of calculating every step of the way according to principle. He would not think of following error or miscalculation to find a correct result, nor would he endeavor to find the source of the mistake in principle. John 16:10, he would make no effort in that direction, but would erase all mistakes and commence again in principle and keep the example at one with it. The working of principle is the only method by which to obtain a correct answer. Error serves no purpose. In divine science, all creation is known as composed of spirit substance, and spiritual things are spiritually discerned. Living things are the expressions and finished work of spirit or God, and are proof or evidence of the existence of spirit. This is true discernment. Existing things are not a cause unto their source, but just the reverse is true. Spirit is the source and cause of and for existing things, and it is universally conceded that the universe is all that is formed or made visible of the invisible spirit. It is I, real being, that knows that I and my Father are one, not two, hence works out life's problem according to at one-ment and produces perfect results. He who understands the law of expression knows that his existence and all existing things are expressions of the invisible one and are the invisible made visible, that scientific demonstrations accord perfectly with the spirit of wholeness, the truth of the allness of spirit, John 1:14. In this analysis, the claim that spirit is to be conceived of only apart from embodiment or distinct from form is proven to be a fallacy. This law proves the long-hoped-for atonement. With this understanding, no one can longer think that the living things of God are not complete and perfect demonstrations of the Creator. As the supreme nature is the only law, creatures are ever harmonious in their relation to the Creator. The purpose they serve is to express their source. The scientist knows no law by which to produce the perfect result, but to live and calculate every step of the way according to the truth that all is good, John 1:17. He would not continue calculating according to the erroneous race beliefs of separation, expecting to find truth and produce perfect demonstrations, but would cease thinking or making any effort whatever from that standpoint of belief and commence again in the spirit of wholeness. This is the only method by which to prove existence at one with its source and to glorify God on earth. Nothing is gained through mistakes. Now that the law of expression opens our eyes with understanding, let us not close them again to truth. Cease saying that when you look upon my body you see nothing whatever of me, and know that you do see the living thinking being expressed. To do this, it must be seen that in substance and reality it is just what the one all is, and is the ideal in spiritual form. If ye had known me, ye should have known my Father also, and from henceforth ye know him and have seen him. 1. God the Creator. 2. God the creating. 3. God the creature. The one all is now revealed to be the Creator, creative action and creation. Let us understand then that if you have seen the truth of self, you have seen the Father, for there is none but God to express himself in creation. Direct expression, as shown in this lesson, is an eternal law, everywhere demonstrated in creation. So created things are not the source of man. As one knows that the visibility example is the demonstration of principle and problem, one must conclude that principle is the source that includes problem and is expressed in the example. The demonstration of the problem which is inherent in principle must be the result of the action of principle. Thus, principle proves to be the law and basis of expression. So, to divine knowledge, creation is the expression of the one Creator, and it is self-evident that the Creator is the source that includes fatherhood and sonship. The demonstration of fatherhood inherent in the Creator must be the result of the creative activity, which proves the law of expression in sonship. Every possibility inherent within being is possible of expression, first in thought and then in word. Here there seems to be two expressions of one cause, but remember that the eternal being is before it thinks, and its thoughts embody the truth of its nature. Acts 15:18, 1 Corinthians 14:33. Thought precedes its spoken word. The word is its form, hence creator, creative action, and creation, or I am, I think, I speak, correctly sets forth the order of the law of expression by which all things are outpressed or caused to exist as form. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. The law of the Lord is equal. As true as is the time-honored mathematical axiom that the whole is equal to the sum of all its parts, so is the nature of being equal to infinitude. The one all is equal to all of the above trinity, for whatever is has power to be eternally. There is therefore no mortality in the one all. Think of yourself as being eternal, as being that which precedes doing, that which is consciousness and knows its power of expression. I must be before I act or think, and I must act or think before I speak or produce. I then must be the source and cause of my thoughts. Also my words, which are the forms of my thoughts. I therefore can never be under their dominion. By result is meant finished work, a thing completed. My thoughts are expressed and complete in my words. St. Paul has said, there is one spirit and one body. By correct analysis from principled divine science proves this to be true. The absolute statement that God and God manifest is all there is in truth implies action, for a self-existing source could not be the cause of any living thing without creative action. So between being and existence there is action, which must be understood in its proper relation to both in order to understand their relation to each other. Lamentations 3:38, Matthew 4:4. Considering divine mind, spirit, or creator as God, let us demonstrate the order of the law of expression. Expression never takes place in the reverse order, from the visible to the invisible. It is to be understood that in the diagram, mind, mentality, and visibility are synonymous with spirit, soul, and body, or with creator, creating, and creation. Here we have the basis for one mind, one spirit, one creator, two mentality, or two living soul, or two creating, or three visibility, three body, three creation. The law works from within being out to visibility by means of mentality. Mentality is mind's center of action. It is more than thought. It means all that is essential to mind for its perfect expressions in visibility. It describes our individuality and shows its inseparableness from God. There is no individuality apart from God, the one source and cause. Divine mentality, the living soul, or individuality in the language of Genesis is spoken of in the plural as stars in the firmament of heaven. We as individuals are firmly fixed as centers of action in the infinite one. Indeed, we are stars in the firmament of heaven. The problem of life, it is evident, is a study that is of special interest and importance to every person. This law of expression, fully understood, is of the greatest value to you. It is the way by which your existence has come forth. So you need to apply it for the purpose of realizing your true and harmonious relationship, not only with your source and cause, but with humanity. The same order by which God is manifested in existence must be maintained in existence in solving the problem of life and demonstrating true freedom. Deuteronomy 33:27. Let us compare our existence to nothing but the spirit of wholeness, and liken the temple of God unto it, and thus reverse the common order of belief which claims that there is physical, material, or external causation which can and does act for our good or ill. Nothing but confusion can possibly be sensed from the belief in physical causation. As God is not the author of confusion, let us fully understand and then practice the one law of expression. According to this law, God made man in his own image and likeness, so let us look upon man and think of him as being the image and likeness of all that is good. Hebrews 13:8. Every expression comes under the law by which it is expressed. But understanding that we are one with God, the Creator and creation, we, being the law, are not under the law. Ephesians 3:9, Colossians 1:16. It cannot act as a schoolmaster to bring us to God and then cease to be. The nature and grace of God being ours, we are the fulfilling of the law. We see it to be the only order by which demonstration can take place. Hence, it is necessary that every student should thoroughly understand this law and realize the importance of applying it in all demonstration and also in every interpretation. The author spiritually perceived this law 17 years ago and knew at a glance that she realized a truth that could not be questioned, that it embraced the all, and that error could not possibly be identified in any way with this trinity. So when understood and lived, it would free everyone from all false belief and erroneous opinion in regard to God and man and all creation. This law, taught only in divine science, proves the absolute one-ment of God and man. It is the basis for all true reasoning. It is divine order. It is method. It is applicable always and everywhere. It distinguishes and illumines divine science. The word soul has been used in so many ways in the past, and without definite meaning or practical application, that it is thought best in scientific teaching to use the word only in a definite way, so that it may be scientifically applied. The use of other words, the meaning of which is synonymous with soul, frequently gives a new view to the word. Soul has been thought to be something that could either be saved and made to enjoy eternal bliss, or could be lost and made to suffer eternal agony. That through its own efforts, it could be either saint or sinner, and the final test of what it was to become through its own efforts would be revealed after death, which state would be a reward for its good conduct or a punishment for its evil. These conclusions are not drawn from principle, hence are not scientific. The true meaning of soul is idea, the eternal idea inherent in divine mind, the potentiality of the Creator, the invisible side of every creation, individuality and divine mentality, when used in their true relation to being, are synonymous with soul in its action and is sometimes called living soul. Man is not something that has spirit, but is spirit. He is not something that has soul, but is soul. He is not something that has body, but is body. These statements, especially the last one, will astonish many and unsettle their beliefs. There has been too much supposed knowledge of that which was not true. The acceptance of these statements mean the maintenance of unity, and this unity is what the law of expression means. The whole man is equal to the sum of all his parts. The word expression is not used in science in a limited manner, as one might say. What a beautiful and practical expression, or what a suggestive or strange expression in reference to subjects under consideration. It means all manifestation of visible form, animate and inanimate, or all the results from source and cause. The universality of expression is shown in the universe of form. We have the unchangeable fact of the Trinity, illustrated in various ways in this lesson, as the fixed order of the universe from which to reason. To accept oneself as being the totality of this Trinity is to be able to express and put our real nature to practical use in everything we do and in every result accomplished. The three constitutes wholeness, hence are co-eternal but not interchangeable in regard to position. Always and everywhere must the Creator include his action and creation. Principle must include solution and example. Being must contain doing and result. Our sense of harmony and happiness depends upon our maintenance and applications of this divine order. We would not tolerate the teachings of one who endeavored to reverse the order in mathematics and set example as the source of principle, or who in science thought that the body was the source of soul or spirit. No more should we sanction the claim that the brain is the source of mind, idea, intelligence, or thought. This shows how essential it is for one to faithfully adhere to this true order in applying life principle or in considering the nature of being. We always want to express the principle in the science of numbers in our business transaction. In divine science, we want to express being in all our ways, in our dealings with each other. This is essential that we may know the outer to be as the inner, the body to be as the spirit, and enjoy the health of wholeness. This trinity proves direct expression of the one self-existing source and cause in all living at the same time. It does away with striving to become what being is not, and banishes forever the theory that our unfoldment is just beyond what we have been, that our unfoldment will forever be greater than our being, which unfolds. There is no unfoldment without an unfolder. There is no unfoldment beyond or greater than its source. It is law that unfoldment be equal to the innate possibilities of its source. Because visible man is the expression of a cause, expression comes under the head of result or creation. His very existence proves that he is being. The fact that he lives proves that he is life. Because body is result proves that he is cause. Nothing can be expressed that is not. Jesus knew the interior nature of being when he raised Lazarus from the dead, and when he called Moses and Elias to him to talk of what manner of death he should die. The word visibility is used to represent the whole of creation. The word mentality represents the whole of creative action, the means through which the Creator expresses his own nature. The word mind means totality. It includes all that is self-existing, all action and result. This constitutes the wholeness in which we rest, and contains the detail of science. No part of this trinity is the result of experience. Nothing is made that is made by experience. To God, experience is self-expression. All that belongs to being is comprised in number 1. What pertains to action constitutes number 2. All result is contained in number 3. Then again, 2 and 3 are included in 1, hence 1 is totality, the all is 1. Man's mentality being the region of action and centered in the infinite being, it comprises thought, motive, and feeling, intellect, reason, and will, conception, recognition, and realization. Each faculty works in union with every other, which results in images or forms. The whole combined has power to formulate soul idea into things. Ideas are forms, and forms are ideas made manifest. The body of man constitutes a member of visibility. It is composed of members and organs working harmoniously together and is a living demonstration of the eternal nature of man. It is the outshowing of the creative idea or the soul of things. Whatever exists as an expression does so by virtue of there being an active expressor. The mathematical model application of the time-honored axiom, the whole is equal to the sum of all its parts, is equally applicable in divine science. Being is equal to all action and result. The students of divine science find it a haven of rest, a real practical religion in every time of need. This is proven by the large number that are being healed and the number of students that are successful healers. There is no limit to the demonstrations of good to be wrought and enjoyed through the study and appreciation of divine science. It is the unfailing, the trinity or law of expression reveals the body to be spirit expressed. It is embraced in spirit, just as the branch is in the vine. Let us conclude that as one is all, unity is always the right starting point, the basis from which to work. It is a rock foundation never to be forgotten. Man should never forget what manner of being he is. In truth, man knows there is nothing outside of God. Nothing lives apart from him. Let us see the source of all living forms in one living cause, whether they are visible or invisible to the natural eye. The expression of the one expressor, law of comprises the whole universe. The universe is all that is expression, formed or made visible. It is a harmonious whole. Omnipresent spirit has one purpose. That purpose is to express itself as the universe of visible things. Let us affirm, I am unlimited in being. I am unlimited in action. I am unlimited in the result of my action. My body is spirit substance in the form of limitless idea. My eyes are open to truth. They behold the perfect law of liberty. My divine nature is the law that I express in all my ways. I acknowledge the good in all my ways. My paths are paths of peace. I stand in the great forever. I live in the ocean of truth, and I bask in the golden sunshine of endless love and youth. So when you go back and listen to this again, it is saying a very simple concept, but it is the law. The law is there's a three-part process for whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, and everything around us is an expression of something else. There is a triune nature to this expression, and all the parts together is what we want to consider it. When we understand that everything that you see is an expression of an invisible thought, an invisible thing that comes from the unseen, and that we are all a part of this same expression, a focal point of this expression, that we can see in the expressions of life all around us, this one thought, this oneness, this unity, that all of it is a part of a single being, yet many beings manifesting, and what we see is an expression of the one. The creator, the creation, and the creature, all are the same. All are one. They're all a part of this expression. And the universe is an expression of something greater. How do we follow this law? How do we utilize this law? We understand that what we see and the causes being physical are not physical. A does not cause B, does not cause C. That everything comes from an invisible cause. There's a greater cause behind all things. That is what we need to be aware of. The expression that we're seeing is not just simple cause and effect. And so when you understand what's happening in the world around you is not the result of just simple scientific cause and effect, but you can look beyond it to see the real cause of it. Then you can understand why it's expressing, and we can see everything around us as an expression of a thought. It's that simple. So we can get caught up in the world of Caesar by the events that are happening around us, and we can attribute certain causes and things. And oftentimes we get caught up in those causes, these ideas of causes, when in reality there is a deeper cause that's coming from a thought, that's coming from something deeper. And when we understand this, we can understand the law of expression. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.